Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing Disney Pixar's Cars. This was another great classic that I grew up with and absolutely still love to this day, and it was one of the only things growing up that actually made me like Cars, to be honest. Now, as this is a Disney Pixar movie, it's going to be very kid friendly and animated in very unrealistic ways, but hear me out. Although it's a movie about talking cars and they kind of act and move similar to humans, it's actually a really good movie. This movie sets the stage for a rookie racer who's dominated the season, and he's full of himself and leads a famous lifestyle. When the first race ends in a three-way tie, he's set to go to California for the tie-breaking race where the winner takes all. One night as he's traveling, he falls out of his moving truck and ends up waking up and driving down an old road. He's chased by a police car to an old town where he destroys the main road. He's then charged with staying in the town until he fixes the road. The town is an old rundown place with a handful of unique cars that own different shops. One of the main cars is an old tow truck named Mater. He's not the smartest tow truck in the garage, but he has his own outlook on life that makes him stand out. McQueen is very impatient and eager to get out of the town as soon as possible, and even though he does a sloppy job fixing the road, he's made to tear it back up and redo it the proper way. While he's there, he meets the various cars and shops and gets to know the town a little bit more and the people in it. He ends up meeting another car named Doc Hudson, who used to be a famous racer that ended his career on a tragic crash. He's old and stubborn at first, but eventually teaches McQueen some very valuable lessons in racing. Lightning McQueen spends most of the movie here at Radiator Springs, and he really ends up adapting well and realizing that these people in this town is a very underappreciated spot in the world. One night, he's swarmed with reporters, and Mac finally shows back up to take him to the race in California. This jumps into the final act, which is basically the end race. While McQueen is still a hotshot rookie racer, he's now changed in the fact that he's learned that he appreciates his friends that he made in Radiator Springs, and he realizes that he doesn't want to do this on his own. Luckily, his friends all come from Radiator Springs, and Doc Hudson steps up to be his coach through the race. He utilizes all the new tricks and lessons he's learned from Radiator Springs in this race, and ends up stopping right at the finish line before he's about to win. This is the best moment in which you can tell his character has definitely changed from the movie, because he stops right before he's about to win. Everything he's wanted is inches from him, but he stops and he lets the other racer win. Because, unfortunately, the king from Dinoco was in a horrible accident during the race, and he stopped because he remembered that he didn't want the king to live the same career ending crash that Doc Hudson did. He goes back to help the king cross the finish line with him, and he learns probably one of the most valuable lessons, and that winning is not always everything. Despite losing, McQueen still goes on to have amazing friends from Radiator Springs and continue his racing career as an amazing race car. You'd think for such an interesting concept of talking cars and winning races, the movie would have a very underwhelming story, but I actually think it did a really good job. I think the reason it did such a good job is because it was very character focused rather than plot focused. He kind of just got stuck in an old town for most of the movie. But what it did for him taught him lessons to be able to grow as a character and become not only a better racer but a better person in the end. You had a nice handful of characters that were introduced, like his quirky friend Mater and his mentor Doc Hudson, and a little bit of a romantic interest with Sally. The voice acting was great, and it was a phenomenal choice to cast Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, and he makes the character so much more iconic. Lightning McQueen's character arc was by far the best part of this movie because you got to see him go from a car that's full of himself and thinks that he's best off as a one-man show and he doesn't need anyone else to kind of taking a step back and be able to look at this world and slow down a little bit and be able to make friends and learn some life lessons and realize that he does need people and it is okay and it is better to be able to live a life where you have ones that you love. For 2006, the visuals were really nice. I honestly really loved a lot of the establishing shots and the mountains and the valleys. They were just so amazing and so beautiful to see. And they did a great job with all of the different particle effects with like the dirt or the water or the mud, and it was just really well done. I even found myself like Owen Wilson saying, wow, every so often. And it's honestly a great movie with good visuals, music, voice acting, and of course the journey of Lightning McQueen. Cars was surprisingly a really good movie for its very simple and linear concept. But that's about it for my review of Cars from Disney Pixar, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to like and subscribe down below and comment if you enjoyed this movie, and stay tuned for more movie reviews in the future. But until then, I will see you guys all later.